I'm sorry. It's still game week. We're still here. Daniel's here. I'm
It's
here.
even closer.
It's even closer.
To the game.
Some may say we are just inching our way to the glory that is Georgia football, beholden on our screens. I'm in a good mood. You should be in a good mood. We're talking about, are we nervous about anything? Big picture, are we excited? What are we excited about? What's going to stop us? Is there concern? And then why we are going to be perfect and steamboat race every single person.
Well, there you go.
In America. Next on Locked On Bulldogs.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. It is so good to be here. It's so good to have you. It's so good to tell you that this episode brought to you by the fine folks over at FanDuel. More about them in a second. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being a part of the show, for being a part of the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. My man over there, Clint, is so enthusiastic about this game, about this football season that's happening here. He went ahead and just took the phrases steamroll and boat race, and he just merged them into one steamboat race.
I was gonna make a comment. I was gonna try to edit it, but thank you for pointing out that
we're just doing steamboat race, everybody.
I am in a
We're gonna race them in a steamboat. You understand? You take whatever mode of transportation you want. We will be on a steamboat. We can confirm that we will be on a steamboat.
We're talking.
Brady Quinn has, and we're going to talk about the offense today, Clint. We're going to talk about the University of Georgia football team offense. Okay.
Yes.
There are some things about this offense that make us rest easy. I'm talking about just peaceful nights, sleep, no worries. There are some things about this offense that maybe bubble the anxiety a bit to the surface, that make us reach for that trusty friend, the bucket.
The bucket.
And then in the third segment for the 199, we're going to talk to you about our overall level of confidence in this offense, not just for Tennessee Martin week, but obviously for the entire season, including the SEC championship game and the college football playoff, which Georgia will inevitably find themselves in at the end. So, Clint, I'll let you kick things off. When you think about this offense, what is the biggest thing about this offense? And it can be a player, it can be an intangible, it can be a scheme, it can be any direction you want to go. What about this offense makes you rest easy?
Here's what makes me rest easy, and it's a concept, and because it's a couple key players in very skilled positions and very important positions. The floor of this offense, I rest very easy on, Daniel. The floor.
You sleeping on the floor?
I'm sleeping. I'll eat off the floor.
My man,
as Kirby asked us to do. I'll sleep on the floor. I'm like Count of Monte Cristo. I don't know what a mattress is anymore. I've just been sleeping on that floor. You don't know what that is? Go check out the book. Go check out the movie. No, the floor for this offense, Daniel, is going to be quite high. I think worst case scenario, we get in a position where it's Carson Beck doesn't have it in a game or isn't the guy, or we have to go through quarterback system or the Mike Bobo system, which is Todd Monken 2.0. All those concerns that everybody else has out there. Let's just entertain them for a moment. I don't have those concerns. You don't have those concerns, but let's entertain them for a moment. This offensive line and the skill, Brock Bowers. We had a nice little pontification from Coach Kirby and Brock saying, "Hey, Brock, you want to play running back?" And Brock said, "I don't care."
He gonna get some carries. I'm not sure if he's gonna play running back, but my man gonna get some carries. Okay.
I think the floor, even if we were to have to gut out a couple of wins, even if we have to get it close, I think 21, 25 points is still the floor because of the abject talent. I trust myself. If there was a lion in between me and Cedric Van Prant, or Cedric Van Prant between me and a lion,
there it is.
That lion going down. And I have no problem. It's not a problem. That offensive line and the skill positions makes this floor, the worst case scenario, I feel really good about, Daniel.
Yeah, you kind of lead me right into mine, and that is it is up front. It all begins up front with this offense, and when you're built around the best offensive line in America, when you're built around, did you see last week our man Michael Williams came out and met with the media? He was asked about which offensive lineman was the scariest. He didn't take the bait. He wouldn't do it. Maria Taylor's got those boys trained. They're not going to answer your dumb questions. He didn't take the bait, but then he was asked specifically about Amarius Mims, and the smile on Michael Williams' face indicated everything that we needed to know. This Amarius Mims guy is the guy. Like, he's not a normal-sized human person, right? This is a guy that makes Jordan Davis look small, legitimately look small.
It's terrifying.
And quickness, footwork, technique. When the offensive line is what this offensive line is, just big nasties in the middle with Tate Ratledge and Xavier Truss, just guys. Micah Morris going to get some run, maybe Dylan Fairchild going to get a little play in there. When just nasty dudes like in the middle, and then you got guys like Ernest Green that Cedric Van Prandt said may have the best footwork on the team.
Oh, I'm sorry. What? What was that?
Okay, so now we're talking about a unit where, yeah, you're right, Clint. It raises the floor so much for an offense because let's say we endure a myriad of injuries at the skill positions. Like we go through a horrifying bout of turf toe, right? And this offense still runs. It still hums. Because it all starts up front. You're able to run the ball. You're able to establish a pocket. You're able to buy time for simple routes to develop and guys to get open and move the football in space. So there's nothing about this offense. As skilled as guys like Brock Bowers are, and as much as I do not worry about some of the things that you mentioned that other people worry about, the thing that makes me rest the easiest about this offense is certainly the offensive line.
It's not even close, Daniel. We have Mims should be first round talent, top 20 again. Ernest Green, best footwork. I mean, now has he seen some tackles, Daniel?
Now, is that important? Footwork? Is that important when you're playing on the outside out there? The offensive tackle?
Bring it, Hill Perkins. I'm waiting for you. You will be shut down. We're going to come talk about what might give us a little bit of consternation, a little bit of worry on the offensive side. But first, these. And these are, in fact, BetterHelp. BetterHelp. This show and episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. One more time. This show is brought to you by BetterHelp. I want you to think for a moment. Maybe you're in a time. Maybe you got that candle out, you got the robes on, and you are having a crisis of faith right now about Georgia Bulldogs. And if that's what you're having a crisis of faith on, that's what Daniel and I are here for. We can talk you.
We are qualified to walk you through that situation.
Okay. Very, very easy. If you need anything else besides that,
any other subject,
don't come talk to Daniel.
We're not the ones. We're not the ones.
We're not the ones. This episode, like I said, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/lockedoncollege and get on your way to being the best self possible. When you need a little bit extra motivation, when you need some extra confidence and some insight from somebody else that is able to give you that way, that they are so wise, they are so helpful, that is where you go to BetterHelp and give online therapy a try. When you are faced with life's tough choices and when the path forward isn't easy and clear, get over there, help them deal with those decisions around career, relationships, anything else not related to football. That's what we have here. But trust yourself into the decisions that align with your values. The more you practice it, the easier it gets. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/lockedoncollege today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedoncollege. Okay, now let's
The
get that
bubble
bucket.
guts. The bubble guts are here.
Right
Things
here.
are not sitting well.
My
I'm
arm has a little tendonitis from the
Yep.
bucket
From just grasping. The bucket gets heavier and heavier as we go. It does.
angle. That it does get heavier and heavier. What are you nervous about? What has a little bit of worry on this offensive side of the ball?
Well, I do think that there are some legitimate nerves around the depth and dependence on a few guys in the skill position realm, right? Like when you are, there's no other Brock Bowers in college football. There are not. They don't exist, and we are very high on Oscar Delp, and we love Oscar Delp. But if Georgia were to become incredibly dependent on, say, Brock Bowers, on, say, Ladd McConkey, these guys that have proven that they are the guy, you don't want your offense to be very dependent on just a handful of people. You want to be diverse, you want to be multiple, and you want to have options. Now, do I think that there's good depth at wide receiver? I absolutely do. Do I think Oscar Delp is? But Kirby mentioned it just in his presser for Tennessee Martin this week. He mentioned if you're going to run 12 personnel, you better have 4 tight ends. You can't run. He's like you can't install a bunch of 12 personnel if you don't have 4 tight ends. Why? Because tight ends get beaten up during the course of a season. They get slammed on by just massive human beings in the
And
trenches.
they're not all 6'8", 265 like Darnell Washington.
And so you better have some guys right now. Georgia, with the injury to Lucky Lawson, Georgia's sitting on Brock Bowers, Oscar Delp, obviously 1 and 2, and then Pierce Spurlin as a third guy. That's not 4. That's not what you want. So we've all been assuming that the 12 personnel was going to continue to play a massive role in this offense. Will it? Will we be able to run it as much as we want? Again, lack of depth at critical skill positions, I think, could be the thing that makes me the most anxious about this offense.
Yeah, if you're going to do Todd Monken 2.0 and Mike Bobo 3.0 and his renaissance of coming up with offense, you need the personnel to run the type of plays that you want to play. Again, you run to set up the pass, you pass to set up the run. It is balanced. It is not just centric on one thing, but you need to have the dudes to load out there to get it going. And if you don't, it really does limit your playbook. Now, all of a sudden, and this is just a hint, this is both a shot at you, Tennessee fan, and to comment that we are not like you. You can have an offense that is 1-2 read and go, and that's your entire offense. And then throw in a little bit of, off tackle right, off tackle left, zone right. But that's not what we want to run, because that offense gets shut down real easy when you play disciplined defenses. Now,
do you remember it, Georgia fans? Do you remember? You remember. We don't have to remind you.
You remember. Remind you that the game was done with 4 minutes to the half. 4 minutes to the half, and the game was over for Tennessee. We all knew that. This is my biggest worry too, Daniel. We're mind melding one more time. Let me try to extend this a little bit more. We have a very, very deep, talented wide receiver room. Ladd McConkey, all SEC type player.
Oh, absolutely.
Dylan Bell, Roseme, all of these guys can ball, rah, and love it. But we can't just rely on them doing an offense that is 1-2 and go, because we're going to roll guys over to Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is taken out. Wide receivers are taken out because they don't get threatened by that personnel group, and we can't mismatch. We can't rotate guys in and make the defense rotate in. The defense gets to keep their guys they want to play. We're not pressing the action on them. It gets real hairy in a hurry, Daniel. Bucket comes out in massive quantities. And if you look back again, The wide receivers have a set. They get rotated out. The tight ends last year, just look at last year's offense. And that's what we wanted to replicate. Well, right now, if you were to ask me how are we going to hit hockey line 2 and 3, third line hockey line isn't there to come out. That's a third or a quarter of your playbook.
That's right.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. It is my concern. It is his concern as well. First 2 weeks, Daniel. We got 2 weeks.
We got 2 weeks. We need to get healthy. We're going to talk about this on Friday.
Kendall Milton, your hamstring is not good to go this week.
Bubble wrap. It's a bubble wrap situation. We'll check back. I would be amiss if I ended this segment about what on this offense makes me nervous.
He's gonna fan out here for a second
without just going ahead and saying Carson Beck might turn the ball over 100 times. Like he might do it. He might do that. Georgia fans, you've watched, you've seen. Now, do I think he's going to do it? No. Do I trust in the process and the development of Carson Beck, that he's grown and he's learned since those times that we have seen those types of plays from him in the game reps that he's gotten? Yes. But he might just do it, and I'm going to have a bucket close by in case he does.
He throws a pick in the first 2 weeks, Daniel. And
check back on Friday. Check back with me on Friday.
Nervous. Don't sleep on.
Check back on Friday.
We're going to come back after this and have overall confidence of this offense. But first, these. And these, Daniel, I don't know how we can go an entire season without talking about FanDuel.
Well, we wouldn't want to, because FanDuel is the official sportsbook partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's the official sportsbook partner of Locked On Bulldogs. And we bet a lot.
We as we saw from week 0, we took some flyers.
Listen, week 0, y'all.
We couldn't do it. It wasn't fantastic, but that's okay. Don't worry. Don't fear. Weeks 1, 2, 3 ongoing. We're gonna take care of y'all. I promise you.
It's coming. Hey, and you know what? What's that? All year that graphic's gonna be up. We're people of integrity. We're not gonna be out here lying to you about how many times we hit and how many times we don't hit. I ain't running. We're going to own it. Clint's 0-2 right now. I am 0-1. And it's okay. It was a tough week. It was a preseason. FanDuel is the place that you want to go to get ready for this college football season. Get in on all of the action, spreads, over-unders, parlays. There's still some time to get some action on some season win totals if you go right now real quick. And FanDuel has it all. So go there right now, FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel.
New customers with $5 get $200 in bonus bets, and all customers who bet $5 get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV.
They want you to have free things. They want you to have things that are free. FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel.
All right, Daniel, let's talk about overall confidence that we have in this offensive system.
Let's do that. But first, let's greet the 199.
Look, this is the time of season. 199. We should tell them, Daniel, here's how to do it, 199.
Okay.
Get over on Twitter. Send us a DM on Twitter. Follow us, Dawgs Podcast. You see it right down here.
At Dawgs Podcast, right there on the Twitters.
And tweet us, direct message, hey, I want to join the Pick'em League. Last year, we gave out some merch.
It's all set up. T-shirt from the merch store, from the 199 merch store. T-shirt to the winner, coming to you. If you win the Pick'em League, Clint and I will be in it. You think you're better than us? You think you know more than us? Hey, listen, the Pick'em League is not for you if you are scared. If you're scared, don't enter the Pick'em League.
Scared money don't make money, Daniel.
That's not who we're trying to get. So messages on Twitter. LockedOnBulldogs@gmail.com if you want to send us a message on the email as well.
That's exactly right.
Join the Pick'em League. Hello to the 199. Overall confidence in this offense, Clint. We can do this however you want. We can do the scale of 0 to 100. We can do this on a letter grade system.
Oh.
But I'm just going to say my overall confidence in this offense, honestly, going into the season, I'm probably going to put at like an 85. I have some concerns. Like I don't have fears necessarily, but I have concerns. I'm not angry. I'm disappointed. You know what I'm trying to say?
Let me ask you something. Would that have still been at 85 had you not had the news of the last 2 weeks?
Branson hurts. It hurts. I'm not going to lie. I went to a dark place.
I have not even gone through any level of processing with that. It is pure avoidance.
I went to a dark place. But I honestly don't think it's going to. I honestly don't think it ultimately, I don't think it does anything to this offense. Okay. I don't think it moves the needle at all. I hate it for the kid, mostly. I hate it for me secondarily because he's maybe my favorite offensive player. And I don't think it hurts the offense, though, as a group.
By the way, I think you're right. I think that my confidence, the floor is pretty high. It doesn't go down. But, Daniel, how does this match with, we were on a podcast saying that 42 points a game might be our average. How does that jive with 85 on a confidence level rating?
I think the high-scoring games are going to be there.
Yeah.
So don't hear me not say. I think this offense is going to go out and absolutely wow some people, absolutely drop some jaws. But I think the confidence that you began to develop with Stetson Bennett was that there was not going to be a letdown. There was not
his bonehead plays, those interceptions, those picks were the absolute outlier, not the rule at any point.
I think this offense, the reason it's an 85 is because I think this offense has an egg to lay in it. I'm not sure that they will lay that egg this season.
I can tell you the game right now.
But I'm
calling the shot.
But I think there's an egg to lay. If they lay an egg, what's it going to be, Clint?
Auburn.
You are terrified. My man is terrified. No one tell Zach Blackerby about how Clint is feeling about the Auburn game. Please do not. He does not need to know.
That DB group is terrifying to me, Daniel.
There's an egg to be laid by this offense. And so that's why I think, yes, Georgia could score more than 40 in 8 games or whatever it was we predicted on that schedule. They could also score 13 with 3 turnovers in a game. And that's not good.
Well, you've heard it here first. Locked On Bulldogs. Daniel predicts that Georgia doesn't make the playoff after 2 losses to Missouri again and Kentucky.
Missouri again, as if we lost to Missouri.
My bad. Misspeaking. Daniel, the confidence of the floor is pretty high, but the confidence is, I was going to put it at 80 because here are Carson Beck is still the question mark. Now, I have high hopes for it, but if you were to get me in my sobered state, which was before we started recording and I got worked up in a lather and I said steamboat race.
Yeah. Which I regret nothing about that.
80. Because I don't know what he's going to be doing right now. You can't tell me definitively because he hasn't done it yet. Just like you were nervous about Stetson, just like we were nervous about JT Daniels, we're nervous about everybody. This running back room situation is real consternation for me. Kendall Milton's injury, I think, is going to be all season long a question mark, which the moment he pulls up on some sort of run and he gets in the open field and he goes out of bounds, I will have a iPhone width hole in my wall.
Just hope that none of your loved ones are seated near you. at that moment.
They know better.
They know. They know. The dog moves to the other side of the room.
They know the splash zone, so to speak, at SeaWorld. Okay?
That's right. That's right. It's not unlike going to SeaWorld, watching you watch a Georgia game. Just to be fair, it's not unlike it.
This animal shouldn't be here. Why did we invite him
At one point, someone's dangling a fish on a string over your head at some point when you're watching the game.
People are coaxing me out.
People love the banter. Well,
they love the banter.
People are like, come on out, Clint. Come on. Come on. Someone throws a ball and tries to get you to hit it with your nose. What's happened to the podcast?
Off rails. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. This is Locked On Bulldogs.
We'll be seeing you.
Locked On Podcast Network. We'll see you tomorrow, where I swear we will do better, but probably not. Thanks for joining us.
Talking about the defense tomorrow, though. The defense. Join us.
Come back and watch the lather get even.
Oh, it's going to get steamy. It's going to get steamy. See you then.